All right, guys. Scribble some last-minute notes here. It's nice to connect again. It seems like if it's a Wednesday, there's some weather-related issues, so it's nice to be able to get an update on everything that's going on. Our freshmen are completed with their season. They got done on Monday, finished on a positive note at Truman with a victory. The freshmen started with us a couple days before Halloween. Now they've played into February, which for a group, it's a long part of a season, practicing, going through everything. We're really pleased with the progress they made and know that the depth of the program is in good shape. Our sophomores are finishing this week. They've had a really, really good stretch, won a bunch of games right in a row, ran into a little bit of a struggle, and then they're finishing strong this week. Again, more depth. Guys have gone from the sophomore level to our JV level this year. We anticipate some sophomores contributing next year as well. The good part about those programs is you've got guys who are on freshman teams that play varsity. You've got guys that are on sophomore teams who've played varsity. We know there's depth in that. We know there's value in that, and we're excited about it. At the JV level, we're continuing to progress. Last 3 games, we've really struggled in 2 after a break, and then we're starting to play better at that level. Guys are fluctuating quarters and trying to get guys minutes. And then at the varsity level, we're in a little bit of a funk right now, last 3 straight, and just searching to find things to get going. But we're positive that we'll be able to get it back on track. We've got guys who are really working hard, who are really committed, who really care, and I know that that's a recipe for success. So we'll continue to work hard. We'll continue to battle. Have Truman on Friday night for court warming, and it's going to be nice to be back home for 4 straight. Been on the road for a while. Hadn't really felt like home. Then we came home and played Truman in a game that was a little goofy because of reschedule, so that was a little goofy. So it'll be nice to get back in front of the home court, in front of the home crowd. And we got to play well. We struggled against a really good Staley team to score the ball in the first half, and then we just battled last night. Ended up losing by 3. Really had a poor performance on Friday night at Leaf Summit at the varsity level. A little bit of a wake-up call for me to make sure I'm doing a better job coaching my team. I hadn't been doing a very good job. And then Park Hill South the week before, great atmosphere, just didn't particularly play as well as we needed to, but it's quality competition too. So we're at game 20 of the season. We go now, and in the last 3 years after game 20, we are 17-4 after game 20. So we're optimistic that this is some reflection time, some learning time that we'll continue to use as information to get better. So as I've said a couple times, I'm proud of how the effort is. These guys are working hard. They care. They're a committed group, and I just hope that we're doing our best for them so they got a chance here down the stretch.
If you could define the season in one word, what would it be and why?
One word and why? Well, that's a really good question. It's a question I wish I had some time to think about before. So 2 popped in my head, and I'll give you both, but I'll give you the one I'll stick with. Fun is the first one. I've really enjoyed this group. I've really enjoyed them. But I think one of the main reasons is the second word that I'll go with, which is growth. I've seen a lot of growth in this group. And I think that has allowed us to have some success and to be optimistic that there's more to come. They're working really hard, and they continue to be coachable and get better. So growth is something I'm excited about.
How does your team define success? What's the end goal?
Yeah. Defining success for us is pretty simple. We just ask them to be their best every day. Be the best you can at what's in front of you. Be the best you can at what your job is. Do your job to the best of your ability. Play to your potential. And the rest kind of falls where it may. But we've done that for the majority of the year when we've been in our funk. I think it's, we're not maybe doing that as much as we need to. So, success is relative because you could play well and lose. You could play poor and win. The end result of a game dictates a win-loss, but not necessarily success for us. So, continuing to be the best we can at what's in front of us will always be the challenge we've got, and that's today, practice tomorrow, and then getting ready for Truman on Friday.
So with the close game against Staley, what are some of the takeaways from that game that you will use Friday when you play Truman?
So some of you probably don't have enough time to go through all of them, but just the toughness and physicality that we played with, the toughness and physicality that they played with, and how then it comes down to just the finer details of a couple possessions. It was as physical, if not more physical, than any game we've played all year. And it wasn't them being physical or us being physical. It was both teams, good players on both teams. And I told the team after the game, Klug, that sometimes it just comes down to making a shot. And we had some shots that we really wanted with the guys we really wanted shooting them, and they didn't go in. And so what the biggest takeaway is, and one theme to the team is, don't let make or miss dictate our success. Because if we make those shots, we win by 9, win by 11. We don't, and we still grind out and have a chance to win. If we could play at that level consistently from here on out, I think we're okay.
What is the biggest challenge the team has faced this year?
As a whole throughout the year, as a team, I don't know. Maybe the lack of experience. Maybe the lack of experience is what pops in my head. I just think that, we had so in our rotation, we've got a kid who was walking the halls of Heritage last year at this time. We got guys who were JV only at this time last year. We've got 2 guys who played a total of 19 varsity minutes last year. So there's not a lot of experience to go through some of this stuff. So the challenge of understanding just everything that goes into success and being the best you can is new and novel to the vast majority of them. So that's where growth has been a positive, but then the lack of experience is something that's been tough too.
With games being so close in the latter half of the fourth quarter, a few seconds left, what do timeouts look like, and what are you telling your players?
Hopefully, we're talking, depends on offense, defense, depends on situation about who's in the game, depends on your timeout situation remaining, depends on fouls that you have, fouls to give, depends on where the ball's being taken out. Those are where you start your substitutions and your lineups and your matchups. And then from there, usually what we'll talk about in the huddle is we'll go twofold. So if we're on defense, we'll talk about what we need to do on defense, and then we'll talk offense. And then if we're on offense, we'll talk about what we need to do offensively to transition to defense then, so that you're not in this one thing at a time, because then I think in high school with the clock running after anything in the fourth quarter, you don't get the opportunity of the clock to stop, so the timeouts are really, really valuable. So if you have to call timeouts to teach everything, you're going to run out of timeouts and the clock's going to continue to tick. So, like last night, for instance, it was just trying to find the right play when the ball was in a baseline out of bounds situation, which was desperation. But then prior to that, there was timeouts that were called, and we were able to talk our full court plays and what we wanted to run. Then when we fouled, we were able to use the dead ball at the foul to talk about what plays we wanted to counter with. So, there's a lot that goes in, and then you're trying to get feedback from the players too. Myself, I'm getting a lot of feedback from our assistants who do just a wonderful job. So, for instance, Coach Quick had the scout last night. So, we're making sure we know who we need to foul. So we had a guy identified that we needed to foul last night in the situation. And ironically, what ends up happening, he misses 4 free throws against Liberty on tape and felt pretty good about it. He hadn't been an aggressive offensive threat all night, and then he goes up to the line and makes 3 out of 4. So you're talking through all things. But the other part about that I think is really important, and this is part of the strategy of coaching, is what have you done in practice in those situations, so that if you're in those situations, you can have carryover. So like we ran 3 full court plays last night without a timeout that are all practices, and we got looks that we wanted on all of them. The result wasn't what we wanted, but we got results. Then you save your timeouts and you got a chance. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's kind of the fun checkers component of basketball from a coaching standpoint, but a lot of that comes through your preparation at practice too, and what you're doing at practice. So wrap up with that. Court warming on Friday. I know that a lot of you all will be there. I'm certainly looking forward to that, getting in front of the home crowd, which energizes us. It'll energize our opponent. We know that. But it'll energize us too. We need a home crowd. We need a good home crowd like we always get, so that our guys have that energy to perform well. They've been battling. They want to play well, and they want to play hard for you. I know that. And then by the next time we talk, that'll be the only game because we got Tuesday off before then Liberty comes in on Friday, which will obviously be fun for a lot of folks. So appreciate all your support. Appreciate your coverage of us, and look forward to connecting with you guys next week, okay?